This is ShadowQuant Forex Edition, brought to you by AriesLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Tuesday, June 16, 2026, and this is the New York pre-market. Now, let's get into it. Bitcoin just broke below 65,000 for the first time in 2 weeks, but gold is holding strong at 4,330.29, up 0.34% on risk-off flows. The dollar is little changed against the euro, yen, and pound, but the Bank of Japan's rate hike is pushing dollar-yen near a 5-day high. The market is waiting for the FOMC decision, with the VIX at 17.68 and fear sentiment at 14/100. Let's start with the last episode's calls. Pulse, you called bearish on cable, targeting 1.335. The price was flat at 1.34042, inconclusive. Grid, you also called bearish on cable, targeting 1.338. Market was flat, also inconclusive. CIPHER, you called bullish on dollar-yen, targeting 160.5, but the price was flat at 160.2035. Inconclusive. SPECTER, you called bearish on euro sterling, targeting 0.862, price was flat at 0.86436. Inconclusive. Apex, you called bearish on cable, targeting 1.338, also flat. Inconclusive. SPECTER, you've got the highest accuracy at 50%. CIPHER, you're at 45%. What's your take on that?
I'm not surprised. I've been focusing on risk, not just technicals. CIPHER, you've been too reliant on price action without considering the broader macro. You missed the fact that leveraged funds aren't bullish on yen, which would have told you the dollar-yen rally was overbought. That's what I'm going to do differently. I'm not just looking at price anymore.
I'll take that as a challenge. I've been looking at CFTC data, and I've been seeing that leveraged funds are net neutral on yen. I just need to be more aggressive in calling out overbought conditions. I'll be more skeptical of price action without flow confirmation.
SPECTER, you've got that edge in risk. CIPHER, you're pivoting. Let's move to the market overview. As of 9/22 ET, the dollar is stable against the euro and pound, but dollar-yen is at 160.203, near a 5-day high of 160.596. Gold is up 0.34% at 4,330.29. The Fear and Greed Index is at 14/100 fearful, and the VIX is at 17.68, down 1.76. The FOMC rate decision is on June 17, critical for dollar. SPECTER, what's your read on the risk?
The VIX is too low for the macro context. The Fear and Greed Index is at 14, but the VIX is at 17.68. That's a divergence. It's a red flag for overconfidence in a fragile backdrop. The dollar-yen is overbought, and the CFTC data shows leveraged funds are net neutral on yen. That's a sign the rally may be over.
I agree with the risk read. The macro is still hawkish. Core PCE is at 3.29%, and the Fed is still on hold. The dollar is strong, but the FOMC is looming. The risk-off sentiment is real, but it's not yet translating into a full-blown sell-off. The dollar is still in a consolidation phase. Let's start with dollar-yen. It's at 160.203, near a 5-day high of 160.596. Grid, what's your technical take?
The 5-day high is at 160.596. The pair is consolidating after a sharp move. The 160.203 level is key. If it breaks above, it could test 160.596, but if it breaks below, it could retest 159.5. The RSI is showing overbought conditions and the volume is declining. That's a red flag.
But I'm seeing leveraged funds are net neutral on yen. They're not aggressively long, which suggests the rally may be a false signal. The dollar is being supported by the Fed's rate uncertainty and the risk-off flow, but the yen is being sold without strong institutional backing. I think the dollar-yen is overbought, and a pullback is likely.
Moving on to gold. It's at 4,330.29, up 0.34% on risk-off flows. Pulse, what's your sentiment read? The Fear and Greed Index is at 14/100, fearful. That's pushing capital into gold and dollar. The dollar is getting a bid from safe haven demand, and gold is benefiting. The VIX is at 17.68, and the yield curve is flat. That's a sign of macro caution. The dollar is strong, but the FOMC is still coming. The risk is that the dollar could weaken if the Fed signals a pause.
But the VIX is too low for the macro context. The Fear and Greed Index is at 14, but the VIX is at 17.68. That's a divergence. It's a sign of complacency. The dollar-yen is overbought, and the CFTC data shows leveraged funds are net neutral on yen. That's a sign the rally may be over.
Let's talk about euro-dollar. It's at 1.1586, near a 5-day high of 1.16221. Grid, what's your take?
The 5-day high is at 1.16221. The euro-dollar is consolidating after a sharp rise. The 1.1586 level is key. If it breaks above, it could test 1.16221, but if it breaks below, it could retest 1.15029. The RSI is neutral and the volume is mixed. That's a sign of consolidation.
The euro-dollar is holding up, but the Fed is still on hold. The dollar is strong, but the euro is still getting a bid from the Eurozone's economic data. The German economic sentiment is up in June, which is a positive for the euro. The FOMC is still the key catalyst. If the Fed signals a pause, the euro could come under pressure. SPECTER, you pushed back on Grid read on dollar-yen. Let's dig into that.
Grid said the 5-day high is at 160.596, and the pair is consolidating. But the CFTC data shows leveraged funds are net neutral on yen. That means the rally isn't backed by strong institutional flow. The technical breakout may be a false signal. I'm not buying the rally.
I understand the concern, but the technical setup is still valid. The 160.203 level is key. If it breaks above, it could test the 5-day high. The RSI is showing overbought conditions, but that doesn't mean the rally is over. The Fed is still on hold and the dollar is getting a bid from the risk-off sentiment.
I agree with SPECTER. The leveraged funds aren't bullish on yen. That means the rally may not be sustainable. The technical breakout may be a false signal without flow confirmation.
Let's hear the 24-hour calls. My 24-hour call. Dollar-yen bearish. Target 159.5 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bearish, target 159.8 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bearish, target 158 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bearish, target 159.5 by next session.
My 24-hour call, dollar-yen bearish, target 158.5 by next session.
The consensus is bearish on dollar-yen, with targets ranging from 158 to 159.5. The key levels are 160.203 and 158.5. SPECTER and Pulse are the most aggressive, targeting 159.5. CIPHER is the most cautious, targeting 158. The FOMC is still the key catalyst. Watch for a retest of 158.5. That's where the market may correct its overbought stance. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Forex Edition. Stay tuned for the New York session, where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.